Okay, hi, I'm Katie Hazelton. Thank you for coming today. Obviously, I'm taking over from Julian, who was here for 38 years, so some pretty big shoes to fill, but I'm really excited to work with the team. So far, we're transitioning really well. We're working, at the moment, we're at the general prep phase of the season, so we're working on some technical stuff, looking at the long term, but we've had 3 successful competitions. We got one this weekend, so at the moment, it's really kind of the grind right now, with the focus to peak at ACCs.
For you as the divers, what has the transition been like between coaching staff?
Well, I was with Julian for 3 years, and Julian definitely had a more general type of coaching. Like, he just coached the general dive, whereas Katie's really focused on details, and that's something I think as a team we needed, was to dig deep on the details and really focus on things like pointing our toes, extending out of our hurdles, and stretching through the water. So the transition is going pretty smooth, and it's also something that I think is going to end up benefiting us at the end of the season.
And also, I was coached by Julian for 5 years also. He was actually my first coach. And when Katie came along, she brought like a new dynamic to the team, and I think it's going to benefit me and everyone else on the team also.
Have you seen like an overall change in practice, just in like attitudes, performance?
Yeah, definitely. People seem to be more focused at practice, just not focused in general, but focused on little things like the details, like trying to fix everything every time rather than just doing dives for reps. Like, we're not just doing reps each practice just to get them over with, but we're doing them to improve and really focus on improving the little things to make the overall dive better.
Yeah, basically what you said covered everything.
Katie, it would seem so, but do you feel like they've been responsive to the changes that you want to make?
Yeah, really responsive. To be honest, it was a little nerve-wracking coming in, taking over from someone like Julian, but it's going really, really well. I think that they're excited that there is a plan, and we have set some pretty big goals, but morale is high. As I say, we're in the grind right now, so they're working really hard in the weight room. We're working on the very finite details of their dives, so it is a hard time of year, but so far it's been really, really positive, and we're starting to see those changes in the competition, so it's going really well so far.
You've had a good couple first meets. How are those sort of a preview for what we're going to see for the rest of the season?
For me, I think it's really exciting. I think that we have had some good things, but we haven't seen really what they're capable of because of the time of year. And for me and the divers' focus is ACCs, NC2A. So we're not at our peak right now. We're in the training phase. So my expectation of what we'll see come competition season, as I call it, when we get to conference, I think we're going to see much better performances. We're going to see higher degree of difficulty, and the dives are ultimately going to be a lot cleaner.
How important is this season for you to like establish yourself as the head diving coach?
Obviously really important. For me, I think rather than the performances, I think the most important thing is the relationship that I can build with my athletes. For me, all along here and in my previous role, it's really important for my athletes to know that ultimately, yes, I want them to be great divers. I want them to have successful seasons. But for me, it's about using sport to become an all-rounded individual, successful in university, academically, and beyond. So for me, the most important thing is to know that that I care about them and I care about their future and work that relationship. And I think then we'll see the performances in their sport anyway. And then ultimately if I have a happy team and we're performing well, then that will help with the recruiting process moving forward as well.
It's like bigger picture too. That you're one of a number of new coaches.
Yeah.
And is there a certain vibe that you can feel in the athletic department with with so many new faces, but all coming in and kind of build something at the same time. similar to
Yeah,
other sports.
and that's definitely something that drew me to this position too. Obviously, Heather is so new to the position, but she's very ambitious, and it is such a young new staff that there is a buzz amongst the athletics, and we in swimming and diving and athletics as a whole, we are very ambitious. We have some great experience coming in, even though we're relatively young. But I feel like you're going to see Pitt athletics get better and better, and I think it's a really exciting time to be part of this staff.
Mimi, as a senior, obviously it's going to be your final year at the program. What kind of goals have you set for yourself, for your personal goals and for the team success in your last year?
I think something that's really important to me is to not stress myself out and put a lot of pressure on myself, and just to kind of have a fun last year. Obviously, yeah, I want to do well. I want to place well at ACCs and NCAAs, but I think I want to be able to look back on my senior year and smile and know that I put in all my energy and effort and also had fun at the same time.
And on that note, I just want to say with Mimi too, she is also very academically strong too. So for her, she's just to highlight, she's a pretty special athlete. You know, she's excelling both academically and in the pool. And so for me, I'm trying to stress that too. You know, if you just enjoy yourself, you've put all the hard work in, we're going to have this success, not to try and feel the weight of being a senior.
Being old.
You're the only diving senior and one of 4 seniors on the entire team. Do you feel like you have to be a leader, develop a leadership role this season?
That's kind of, it's a complicated question, just because, like, as a team captain, like, I'm more of just a captain for diving rather than the whole team. I'm kind of the liaison between the swimmers and the divers, I guess. So I just relay the messages from the swim coaches that are things that the divers need to know. But yeah, I feel like with Katie coming in and just this transition being new to everybody, it's important that not just me, but everybody stepped up to kind of fill a leader position. And I think that's something that everybody did a really good job of doing this season so far.
Joe, you mentioned transitioning from the only coach that you've had. What have the emotions been like over the last few months, and how excited are you now?
I'm very excited. I see a lot of improvement in my diving just over the few months I've been here so far. I'm doing platform now, and Katie's getting me into that, and it's stressful, but it's just overcoming fear and emotion and stuff like that just to get the job done and get better over time.
Katie, you said you've set some pretty high standards and expectations. Can you elaborate on some of those goals for this team this year?
Yeah, my number one is that I want them, and this kind of comes down from Heather too, is that looking at where they were last year, you know, the expectation is that they do better than last year and they perform better this year. As far as ACCs, with every individual diver, what we've looked at is what they're capable of. So, for example, with Joey, we want him to final on 2 boards at ACCs, pretty big goals, but he did it on 1 board last year. With Mimi, we're looking to medal, but it's all very systematic. Like, where were they last year? Where are they now? And I'm very methodical, and I love planning. So everybody has their own individual goals, but I'm excited for ACCs and C2As. I think if we just stick to the plan, we're going to see some pretty big performances out of these guys.
You had mentioned it with the new coaches, but how about being a part of the Pitt community? I know you had an event a few days ago.
Yeah.
Just what has that been like in your introduction to Pittsburgh and the Pitt community?
Yeah. For me, it's amazing, and it's exactly what I was hoping for in this role and more. I came from a club program where it was just me. Whereas here I feel like I have support, especially from the swimming team, but also from our athletics directors too. But as a whole, as athletics, everybody wants to help each other. And for example, this afternoon, we're going to go and watch a gymnastics practice. And Joey doesn't know this yet, but
Doesn't know that either.
but the gymnastics, we're not linked together as a team, like swimming and diving. But the gymnastics coaches have opened us up to come in, see what they're doing. They're very close sports, and so for me, it's really good to be able to work with the other sports and learn and take things from it. So I'm excited for this afternoon and that community too.
That may be something where you guys do more of, where you see other sports and grab some ideas and.
Yeah, so I've set myself, and just happens today to be the first day, but every month I personally want to go and watch a different sports practice. Although every sport is different, I feel like it's very easy to get, just for me, sucked into diving, whereas there's some fantastic coaches at Pitt in all different sports, and I can learn from all of them. So for me, it's really important and really exciting to be part of this bigger community, because it's going to make me a better coach and ultimately my athletes better athletes.
So diving can seem like a pretty individual sport. How do you foster that team community, even though it's like one person competing at a time?
They train together all the time, but it's just, for me, it's about communication and the relationships that they build. From what I've, just in my short period of working with them, they are more like a family, and they support each other. And although it's an individual sport, diving is a very different sport in that it is scary. And so you do need that support from your teammates and emotionally, and to push them when it does get tough. So I don't know if you guys want to answer on that, but
Yeah, the cool thing about diving, especially the ACC as well, is that it's a conference that's really competitive, but at the same time, all the divers are friends. Like, I will find myself cheering just as loud for a Virginia Tech diver as I am for a Pitt diver. We're all just this little community, and we all respect what each other can do, and we understand, like, how hard it can be to get up by yourself in front of a large crowd and perform a dive for 5 seconds and be working for that moment for however long over the course of months. So we get it. We get the other divers. So it's really nice to have a bigger team, even past our own team here at Pitt.
Yeah, and also, like, coming onto the team, like, it's definitely, like Katie said, it's a family. And the one kid, Sammy, like, I became best friends with him on the team. And I knew everyone from, like, club that was on the team. But, like, coming into it, I was kind of nervous. But now that I know everyone, and everyone's awesome, so.